Dharma and language have gone hand in hand as far as Bharat is concerned, which reflects significantly in two aspects. One, there are very few portions of Bharat where the two epics don't find an audience, or there are no local manifestations of those two epics, where there are no, let's say, usages and idioms which don't draw significantly from the two epics. Whenever you think of a student-teacher relationship, you have very clear examples that come from the Mahabharata. Whenever you think of brothers, so to speak, while the popular example is Rama and Lakshmana, perhaps Rama and Bharata would be the better example to give. Similarly, when you think of strength, you think of Bhima, you think of Hanuman, so on and so forth. So that tells you that as far as Bharat is concerned, Dharma has played a significant role in the spread of this particular culture, to the extent that it has used Sanskrit as a way of forging unity, at the same time not having this expansionist tendency which perhaps other languages have, which swallow up local languages. So when someone tries to say that, let's say, Sanskrit is a representation of Aryan supremacy, so on and so forth, and therefore it needs to be resisted and repelled and so on and so forth, then how do you explain the survival of other languages? Now let me try and use their own argument against them. So when each time we say that Bharat has survived multiple Islamic invasions, their argument is, no, you cannot make that statement, because if we were so all-conquering and if this was the intention, how do you explain the continued presence of Hindus, is their argument. So no, let's say, credit is given to Hindu resistance to Islamic invasions. Now let's try and apply the very same framework to languages. One, you have to look for two markers. One, can Sanskrit and other languages coexist? Is there proof of their coexistence? The answer would be a clear yes. Second, is there any instance where so-called Sanskrit purists have looked down upon translation of Sanskrit epics in other languages? To the best of my knowledge, even if there have been such, let's say, examples, that would be far and few in between. Three, do you have examples of linguistic rebellion and revolt where someone has chosen to say, to hell with Sanskrit, and as far as we are concerned, this is an alien language and we will continue to abide by only these languages? Significantly, each of these tendencies can be traced only to the advent of the missionary spirit in Bharat after the advent of Christianity in Bharat, to a significant extent. Or not just the advent of Christianity, I would say this has started perhaps more in the colonial period. So when you look at each of these markers, I think this is perhaps one of those few cultures which, while it has the ability to claim that it is the fount of all knowledge, or it has the ability to, let's say, shine the light on the rest of the world, is more than happy to listen and hear views from across the board. So this is one of those examples where someone who has the ability to dominate chooses not to dominate and is happy to listen. This, I think, is the mark of knowledge and power when melded with humility, what Bharat's, let's say, culture would look like. I think the West has a lot to learn from this. It's easy for us to chest thump and say that we have done this, we have done that. The innate tendency of most Bharatiyas is to underplay. This is not an individual quality. This is a cultural quality. This is a collective quality. So